Welcome back to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, Israel is preparing for a retaliatory attack against Iran, and it's imminent. I mean, we're talking about any moment. We could see this attack happen. Now, what does this attack look like? We have limited knowledge of what this is. Obviously, this is the most secretive thing happening in the Middle East, and we've all been anticipating what it could be. Here at the Israel Guys, we've outlined three options of what we are looking at. Of course, we will see in the coming days. But the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, says this. He says, "Whoever attacks us will be hurt and will pay a price. Our attack will be deadly, precise, and above all, surprising. They will not understand what happened and how it happened. They will see the results." Now, that was from the defense minister. This sounds pretty intriguing. What in the world is this attack going to be, and when will it be? How will it look? Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, also said that just a few weeks ago, he said that the attack would be sooner than we think. So I think sooner than we think is coming very, very soon. We're going to see this attack happen. Will this attack be on the nuclear facilities? Will it be on the oil industry? Will it be the leaders? What will this attack be? Well, the U.S. just sent a message to the Iranians. This is really baffling to me, but the U.S. says this. It says that they will not participate in attack, like a joint attack with Israel, on the Iranian nuclear facilities. So, because of that, the Iranians now feel the freedom to move ahead. The Iranians are now moving ahead with their nuclear capabilities. Now, even with the Israeli potential retaliation and the strike that is imminent upon the Iranians, the only Iranian out is to finish the warhead, the nuclear warhead, and do what with it? Do what Iranians want to do with it, and that is destroy Israel. Do you think Israel's just going to sit by and watch this happen? Well, that's one thing. While America sits back, we're going to talk a little bit after we outlined the three options that we've outlined here about how this attack will look. We're going to talk about a little bit of the U.S. policy right now and how Iran got to where it's at. But first, guys, we're going to get to the details of the retaliation that's coming any minute. Okay, so first, everyone's talking about the Iranian nuclear sites. Will Israel destroy them? Well, Biden and the G7 allies of the United States are working hard to limit Israel's response. Biden saying that he doesn't support, as we spoke, the destruction of Iran's nuclear facilities. And he thinks the best route is not to destroy them, but to do the age-old thing that we've been doing for ages and ages and ages, and that is just sanction them a little harder. Just sanction them. Guys, that has not worked. Iran is literally moments away from a nuclear bomb because of sanctions, and then weaken sanctions, and tighten sanctions, and weaken sanctions. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's the real concern that the internationals have about Israel targeting directly the nuclear side is that this could broaden the war. Well, I'll tell you what could broaden the war is Iran with the nuclear capabilities. Iran with nuclear capabilities is a threat not only to Israel, but the entire Western world. I think the G7 and America and its allies of the G7 are a little bit confused about what Iran intends to do with the nuclear weapons. And Israel is going to take this seriously. So that's option one. Will Israel just strike right to the head of the snake and destroy the nuclear facilities? It's possible. I don't know how likely it is that they're targeting directly. That's not typically how Israel does it. That's the one that everybody's thinking about. But let's go to option two. Option two is, what if they just destroyed their income, their oil? What if they hit the oil industry hard? That's the second one everybody's talking about. Will Israel destroy the oil industry of Iran, causing them to go back into the dark ages with no income? Well, that may be one way of doing it. This likely will also, the likelihood of it is uncertain as well, because what is the response of destroying the Iranians destroying their oil facilities is that they would probably start attacking U.S. oil companies in the Middle East, which would also be tough because then the whole world would turn against Israel at the gas pumps because oil prices would jump like crazy, and then you also have a big problem. The world doesn't seem to understand that Iran is at the brunt and the head of the terrorism, global terrorism in the world. Why do people not understand this? They're blaming Israel. They're not going to the root, and that's the same thing that would happen at the gas pumps. They start blaming Israel for starting all this. Guys, let's remember who started all this. Iran and its proxies who attacked Israel and who will, if they get the chance, attack you wherever you are, in America or anywhere in the Western world. So that's option two. Will they hit the oil industry? Will Israel attack there? That's also, I don't know. We'll find out in maybe a few hours, but likely not because of this strategic play here. I don't know if that's going to happen. Here's what I outlined will most likely happen in the coming hours, coming days. They're going to do something much more advanced, something much better, something much more crippling to the enemy, the archenemy of the state of Israel, the one who would like to see the state of Israel driven off the map. Just as Hitler foresaw, they would like to see the finishing of that final solution. It's not going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to outline in just a moment a little bit of history, what's happened since this war began on October 7th. But I don't believe Israel is going to go down the path everyone's thinking. Will they go option one with the destruction of their nuclear facilities? Will they go with option two of destroying their oil? No, I think it's going to be crippling from internal. We'll see soon what this looks like, but this is going to be much better, more sophisticated, and at the roots of the sources of all of this, as was kind of put out by the defense minister, that this would be crippling, right? That it's going to be a surprise, like, wow, what is this? It's going to be out of nowhere. They're not even going to know what this is. That's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be something very sophisticated. It's going to be, people aren't going to understand, and maybe it's already happening. Maybe. And we don't even know it yet until we will find very soon that Iran, here's the results of whatever this attack will be. The brilliance of the Jewish nation and its superiority in military tactics will be seen very strongly here soon. But here's what I believe will be the result of whatever this will be. No one on the planet has any earthly idea of knowing how this is going to play out. But what will happen because of it is, I believe what will happen because of this attack will be that Iran will no longer be capable of continuing to be a global proxy leader, terror leader on the planet. It's not going to be capable of such. It's not going to be capable of creating a nuclear warhead, and it won't be capable of producing oil for the world. That's what I believe the back result of whatever this incredibly advanced attack that Israel will just in moments release on Iran. Again, there's no details, and that's very hypothetical and a very broad statement, what I'm telling you, but there is absolutely no way of knowing what this attack will look like, but it's going to be surprising to all of us. And I do believe in these results, that Iran is about to experience something it never foresaw, and it no longer will be capable of being a terror leader on the globe. Let's just watch and see what happens. Here in Israel, we just commemorated the anniversary of October 7th, a year since terrorists massacred families, burned homes, and shattered lives. The devastating aftermath is affecting displaced families, Holocaust survivors facing isolation, and brave soldiers risking their lives on the front lines. Israel's people can't wait. Poverty-stricken families can't wait any longer for hot meals. Soldiers can't wait for a moment of peace. Holocaust survivors can't wait for the care and dignity they deserve in their final years. Right now, they need us more than ever. Mayor Panim is working tirelessly to provide thousands of pantry boxes, prepaid grocery cards, and festival holiday meals to bring hope and healing to those struggling in the Holy Land. As Isaiah 58:7 reminds us, is it not to share your bread with the hungry and to bring the homeless, poor, into your house? This is our mandate. You can make the difference. Donate at israel-donate.org or click the link in the description below. Okay, so the U.S., along with its allies over at the G7 allies, they decided that Israel was capable and should have a proportionate response. So what is a proportionate response? To me, just as a just person saying proportional. So they shot 181 missiles, ballistic missiles at Israel. Well, Israel should send 181 ballistic missiles back. That seems proportionate. But here's the fact is that the Biden administration is not looking at proportionate like me and you are looking at proportionate. He is looking at what was the impact. Well, the fact is that it was completely unsuccessful. The only person they killed was a person that was aligned with their the ideology of destroying Israel. They didn't kill one Jewish person. They killed a Gazan Arab that was celebrating in the streets. So completely, not only was it not successful, it was very unsuccessful in actually killing someone that was aligned with their goals. So this is what the G7 is not saying what we are thinking with proportionate response. This is what, and I want to outline this a little bit because this is important for you to understand. They're certainly not saying that Israel should have a proportionate response, because you know what 181 ballistic missiles from Israel to Iran would do? Iran would be no more. Iran does not have the capability of knocking down Israeli missiles in the sky like Israel does. Israel is so superior that we saw that very clearly. Now, what we're going to find is if the G7 and these allies of the America that think that Israel should have a proportionate response, what they mean is there should be no response, because Israel's response would mean, if you want to look at proportionality, it's not the proportionality based on shooting 181 missiles. The proportionality is based on that it wasn't successful. So if Israel needs to do a proportionate attack, it means they need to do an unsuccessful attack on Iran. Well, that is not happening, folks. Let's take a look at this very quickly. The Biden administration, when they took office, Iran was on the verge of collapse. They were just about destroyed. They only had $4 billion in their reserves. They couldn't fund their terror proxies if that was Gaza, if that was Lebanon, wherever it was across the regions. They were falling apart. Biden stopped enforcing those sanctions, and since that time, just in oil revenue, Iran brought in $100 billion, which was able to flow straight into their regime and then refuel, restock themselves and all their proxies. So because the proxies are now flourishing, this is really the reason for this war. And Iran is bolstered and ready, but maybe not so much, but this is yet what the world outside of Israel is looking at. The Biden administration and the allies at the G7 are looking at this and thinking, oh, well, let's not touch the oil. Let's not get too involved here. Let's try to balance the powers in the Middle East. But no, they don't understand what's really going down. Israel has to attack Iran, and this threat must be absolutely eliminated. No question about it. This is what Iran says to all those America G7 allies that are looking at potentially standing with Israel. We see these allies stepping back a little bit. They're saying yes to Israel, like you have the right to proportionate attack. But I just explained what proportionate means. That means you should just have an unsuccessful attack on Israel, on Iran. You should have an unsuccessful attack on Iran. Well, that's not, Israel will not accept that kind of the G7 and the Americans. This is unacceptable for Israel. They can't do this. Iran's statement to these folks that are looking at potentially standing with Israel, they're saying, it's a quote from Iran just from today. Should any country render assistance to the aggressor, it shall likewise be deemed an accomplice and a legitimate target. Is this why America is kind of backing off? They're saying, Iran, we're not gonna be striking. No, we're backing off a little bit. The G7's like, Israel, proportionate attack, no damage. They're all backing out. Israel's alone right now in their response. And again, we're going to see an incredible response from Israel very, very soon. Let's take a look. And why am I so confident in Israel's response on their enemies? Let's look back to April. Iran sent the largest drone attack in world history on the Jewish country, and not one Jewish person died. They also, at the same time in April, sent to date the largest ballistic missile attack in world history, and not one Jewish person died. And then again, just on October 1st, they sent the largest, topping their April attack, the largest in world history attack for the second round, larger than the attack in April, ballistic missile attack on Israel, and not one Jewish person died. There's something going down here that proves to me that Israel is not alone. Israel is not alone. The God of Israel is fighting for Israel, and Iran will soon recognize that Israel is more than just a military superpower in the Middle East, with a quantum edge that is unbeatable in the region. but it also has a God that is watching out for Israel, and they will be unsuccessful in their goals. The miracle is what I've just outlined to you. Iran is losing massively, unsuccessful at every single turn. They spent 1/3 of their ballistic missiles already shooting them at Israel, unsuccessfully. Their storehouses are being depleted, and what's about to happen now will likely finish them. Ladies and gentlemen, I can get excited about that. The terror leader on the globe is falling quickly to the one and only Jewish state. That's something I get excited about, something that you can get excited about, because Israel is doing this not only for itself, but for the entire globe. That's something we should support. If the governments don't support it, stand up and support it yourself. That's my conclusion on the matter. Individuals must support Israel like you've never supported Israel before, for they are leading the world. Talk about global peace. Israel's at the forefront of that. Guys, we're wrapping up. Don't forget to the Ma'ir Panim. They're great work in feeding the poor. Go over there, help them. Let's feed the poor of Israel, and let's help Ma'ir Panim. Guys, make sure and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below on this topic. And as always, stop listening to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth that's happening here in Israel.